Welcome to the Focused Fundraiser. This is where I get to discuss how to focus on the right fundraising practices with fundraisers, coaches, consultants who are in the trenches doing the hard work every day. Because something that we believe is doing more shouldn't be the goal. Focusing in on what matters most should be. Today, I am joined by Christal Cherry. She is a nationally respected nonprofit strategist and works with boards and fundraisers and leaders across the sector. So she has over 2 decades of experience in the conversation, and she will also be speaking at WellTold this April, where she's going to challenge us to rethink how boards show up for mission and money.
Yes.
So, yeah, welcome to the show. Thank you, Christal, for being here.
Thanks, Robs, for having me.
All right, I want to talk about WellTold in a minute, but first, start us off, share a bit about yourself and your path into the nonprofit sector.
Oh, goodness. How much time do you have? Okay. Well, like most other fundraisers, I started my career in nonprofits working in the fundraising arena. And like most fundraisers, I fell into it. It wasn't a plan. And that was, I don't know, 20 something years ago, and worked primarily in higher ed institutions and then worked for human services. I did some faith-based work. I worked at a consulting firm. I've done it all. And then I guess about 6 years ago, I decided I wanted to try something different. I wanted to focus in a different arena. And so I decided to enter the boardroom playground and work with nonprofit leaders to help them provide support to their executive directors, provide strategic direction, to help them to understand the roles that they play as thought partners for the executive director. And it's been a great ride. I've not really looked back, so it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, you are, that is the common practice is falling backwards into fundraising. So you are in with the masses here. So, all right, let's talk about Well Told for a minute.
Yeah.
Crystal, why did you say yes to being a speaker at this? Why should fundraisers even show up at this event? What do you hope that they're going to take away from it?
Yeah, no, I was invited by Max, who I love. I think he's a wonderful storyteller, and he really sold me that this was a really great conference. Not as big as some of the larger ones I'm accustomed to going to when we talk about fundraising, like Icon, which I love going to, but it's just like 5,000 people, and it's just doesn't give you a chance to really get to know anyone. And so I thought, why not? I've never been to Fargo. I've never been to this conference before. It'll be a great opportunity for me to meet some other people who I've not met and to learn from them as well. Um, Look, in fundraising, you need as much information and intel as you can get. I encourage fundraisers to come to this conference and meet me and meet others who are there who could support you in your work.
I can't wait to hear you speak. So this conference, it's one day. It's in Fargo if you want to come in person, but it's also virtual. So if you want to tune in anywhere, you totally can. And the goal with it is being that you don't just leave feeling inspired like many conferences, but you leave with very actionable steps that you can take in your organization the next day. So this is a very hands-on event. So I can't wait to hear you talk about boards and governance with all of that. It's going to be great. All right, let's dive into fundraising.
Sure.
You often say that boards set the tone for fundraising culture. So for listeners who are feeling stuck with a disengaged board, what is a first practical shift that they could make towards more of a healthy fundraising culture there?
Wow. Well, first, I think we need to ease the minds of our boards in terms of fundraising. I think everyone is always scared of the F word. They think that this is going to be something that's going to be scary, and you're going to be imposing on your friends, and you're going to be begging, and you're going to be doing sales pitches. And that is not what fundraising is about at all. Fundraising is about telling stories, fundraising is about relationships. Fundraising is about advocacy and passion and all the things that we know makes that go round and round. So I try to ease the mind of my boards when I talk to them about fundraising. And there are lots of ways to engage in fundraising. It's not just the asking part. In fact, like 90% of fundraising is the cultivation piece, right? The 10% is the asking part. So the fun part is just building the relationships, getting to know the people who you're trying to get to support your organization, learning about them, learning about their passions and why they give and why they're excited about your work. I mean, that's the fun part. And then the asking piece is the last 10%. And so I really tell them to focus in on that part. And, they can leave the asking piece up to staff. They don't have to make the ask if they don't feel comfortable doing so, but their relationships, the way that they tell the story. I mean, storytelling, it helps meaning to travel, helps to activate, right? It really helps to get people excited about what the organization is doing and not just statistics, not just dashboards, not infographics, but stories where people's lives are changed and people are feeling better about themselves, right? And so that's what I really try to tell my boards is that stop thinking about it as something that's scary. It really isn't. It's delightful. It's a way for you to invite people to make meaningful donations and contributions to good work, right? And so for me, it's spiritual. I feel like this is what God wants us to do. He wants us to contribute. He wants us to do good work. He wants us to pour back into his kingdom. And what better way than asking folks to join us in this work? So
That's good. So for those that they've got a board that is disengaged, I'm sure that you step in and help coach and bring a board back into this fundraising culture. What are some steps that they can take to get them to understand that this is storytelling and the ask is just a piece of it?
yeah, well, like everything else, and to get your board engaged, you really need to build relationships with your board members, right? And try to find out why they joined your board, what about the organization was appealing to them, what skill sets that they have that they like to share. A lot of times their skills are not being optimally used, and so I think when you really make board members feel like they're part of what's going on, they're part of the story, they're an important part of the equation, and give them some sense of belonging and ownership of the work, I think that they will start coming and being more engaged. But you have to engage them. You have to give them some things to do, right? And so that's the first thing. Get to know your board members. Find out why they joined your board. There's 1.5 million boards. I mean, why did they join yours, right? Find that out. Learn a little bit about them personally. What other organizations are they involved in? Ask about their kids, their family. I mean, get to know them as people, right? Because people will go to and contribute to things that they like. They will contribute to things that they feel like they have a part in, they have a voice in. And so it really is about relationship building. And so once you start really building authentic relationships, giving people a chance to voice their opinions and share their ideas and ask hard questions, all the things we know the boards should be doing, then they will get engaged. And once they get engaged, then you can begin to tell your story and ask them to share that story with their friends and their colleagues.
Mm. What you're touching on is the partnership side, right? Where they're not just supporting you, but they feel like a partner in the organization. And good partnerships have good accountability or healthy accountability. From your perspective, what does that look like on both sides of the table for board members and for fundraisers managing the board?
Yeah. Well, for board members, it looks like showing up. Right? Coming to the actual board meetings, and then once you get there, engaging, not just stamping reports, but really engaging in the work. I mean, I usually ask my board members, have you had any contact with the people in the community that you're working with? And a lot of times the answer is no, which to me is tragic. I really do believe that board members should get to know the communities that they're helping to save and to serve, and I shouldn't have said save, but to serve. Let me clarify that. But yeah, go serve dinner. Go, play basketball with the kids, read to the elderly, hold the babies, do all the things so that you can see the people's lives you're changing. I think once you get to see that firsthand, it's one thing to see it on paper, to read the mission on paper or on the website, but it's another thing to actually give someone a hug or to shake a hand of someone whose life you're really changing. I mean, just think about the fact that you're at this board meeting and the work that you're doing might help a kid have a meal today that they wouldn't have otherwise, right? And so when you get into it like that, when you start feeling it like that, people will want to come to your board meetings. They will want to be engaged. They will want to be accountable. So show up first. And then once you get there, turn the cell phone off, right? Don't write your grocery list, right? Stop texting your daughter about dinner. Give them your full attention for the hour and a half that you're sitting in the room. Ask the hard questions. Look at the budget. Ask questions about the budget. Ask questions about future plans and policies and really engage and be a thought partner for the executive director because he or she has a lot on their plate. And the reason why you're in the room is because having five brains in the room is better than just having his or hers, right? And so you might think of something or have an idea or a resource that they may not know about. So share that. Right. And do that happily, not begrudgingly, right? And then have a relationship with the people in the room you're sitting with, because everybody's there because they all love the same passion. They all love the same mission, and get to know them. So I think that's what being accountable is showing up, doing the work, supporting the executive director, and then of course making your own financial donation. Because you gotta have some skin in the game, and it's not even about the amount, it's $50, $100 for the year. And some organizations require more, but it's okay. Do something, right? And once you get that information so that you can tell the story, tell all your friends and colleagues about the great work your organization is doing. Don't hold it in as the best kept secret, right? Tell it on social media, tell it at dinner table, tell it at church. I don't care. Tell it everywhere at the gym and let people know the good work this organization is doing. And then just invite them to come to the next event. Or can I send you the next newsletter? Or I would love to have coffee with you, my executive director. You're not asking them for money or anything yet. You're just getting them involved and engaged in the life of the organization, letting them see firsthand the good work that you see, right? And then from there, you start building a relationship. So it's not hitting people over the head. It's not begging. It's not imposing. And these are the things that I think boards are scared of when we talk about fundraising.
That's such good advice for board members. I think so often there's not a playbook to be on the board. You're just on the board, and all of a sudden you feel like you need to have an opinion on the CRM that they're using, even if you've never touched a CRM in your life. Can you touch on that? What is it like for executive directors to manage boards and their expectations? And so on the other side of the table from the board, but the executive director or the CEO,
Yeah.
what are good practices for them to have?
Yeah, it's a lot of work to manage up because you remember the CEO, the executive director reports to the board, right? So these people are her bosses, they're her supervisors, but you do have to manage up and manage relationships with these individuals, and hold them accountable, in a way that in a nice way, right? You don't want to tell your boss off, but you do want to let them know what you expect from them, how they can help you, let them know what you need, right? Because you're juggling 58 hats. And sometimes they don't know. They don't understand exactly what you need from them. So the CEO needs to let the board know how they can help her or him, what they need the most, right? And that means sometimes you're gonna have to take some time and have coffee with board members to learn a little bit about them. Ask them to come to the office, and so you can show them around on what a typical day in the office looks like. Ask them to spend an hour in your office while you're taking calls, and they can understand, the hats that you're wearing, right? So, I think it's incumbent on the CEO to also let the board know what he or she needs. They're not magicians, they're not mind readers. You need to let them know, right? And so, yeah, and be prepared. Come with your reports and your budgets and everything. Send that out to your board 3 or 4 days in advance. Give them ample time to read that information. Don't expect them to come in and approve policies and approve budgets that you sent last night, right? You want to give them ample time to review it so they can really give you back good feedback.
You're touching a little bit on board governance, so let's dive into that.
Yeah.
You've emphasized that strong missions require strong boards. How can organizations build a strong board? How does governance practices help with that, with driving impact and growth, all of that?
Yeah. Well, it starts at the recruitment stage, right? Making sure that you're bringing in the right people. I don't think people do the enough background work before they bring someone onto a board. Often it's because, you think, well, he or she has a big job somewhere. They're a big person. They're at a C-suite level, vice president at Wells Fargo or Lockheed Martin. We need to have them on the board. Well, maybe not so much, right? Do they have the time to actually serve? They might be able to cut you a check, and they may or may not, even if they can, right? But do they have the passion for your work? Will they have the time to actually be in the room? Will they open up that little black book and connect you to the people who you think they're going to connect you to, right? And so I would say do your homework first and do your research before you bring people on the board. Know what you need, know what skill sets you need, And if you're in a certain ecosystem and everyone on your board are teachers, then maybe you should look outside of that group and try to find folks who are not teachers, but who have skill sets that you need, like fundraisers, like finance people, like influencers, people who have public relations background, who are good writers, right? And so you need to do that work first. The good old matrix that we always talk about, where you can fill in the skills of the board members you currently have, and by doing so, you can see what gaps are missing, and then that'll help you to kind of see, oh, this is what we need. We don't have any people who are fundraisers on our board, or we don't have any people who are under 60 on our board, or we don't have enough women or enough Latinas or enough people of color, whatever it is, right? And then do the good work of trying to find those people, interview them, make them fill out an application, make them understand that this is serious work, right? And that they should be interviewed. And then you have a nominating committee who will look at the applications and decide who they want to be on the board, right? So I think you need to make it official from the very beginning so they can understand that this is serious. Like, we're not coming to play, right? We really need you to work. And then once you bring them on, then onboard them properly. Give them the hour-and-a-half orientation, teach them about the mission, have the CEO come in with a couple staff people to talk about the work that the organization does, show them the video for the mission moment, have them introduce themselves, tell a little bit about themselves, have the cake or the pizza or whatever it is the fruit or whatever it is you're gonna have. Make it social but informative, make it feel good, give them the pin or whatever swag you have, and then let them know right away how they can get involved. We have 4 committees. This is what each committee does. Which committee would you like to sign up for today? Right? Get the commitment from them at the very beginning. Our next committee meeting is on Wednesday at 6. I'll send you the link to make sure you're in the room. If you need me to send you a reminder, I'm happy to do so. But we're going to put you to work right away. By the way, here's our latest newsletter, and we have an event coming up next month. Please put this on your calendar. Like, start getting them involved in the organization right away. Get a commitment from them. Oh, and by the way, you can make your donation today too if you like. Yeah. So
I love that.
yeah. Let
The
them know we mean business. We need you
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I think the matrix is such a great approach. I love that idea. All right, looking ahead, board leadership and philanthropy, what trends are you seeing that fundraisers should be paying attention to this year?
Oh my goodness. I think, with everything being so crazy, I think recurring giving is important. If you can get donors to agree to become monthly donors or quarterly donors, that's going to be really important because that's money that just comes in. You don't have to think about it. It provides that liquid cash that you need. And these people will say, "We're going to stick with you," and normally they will, even when the winds turn. Your monthly donors will continue to make that $50, $100, $200 donation, right? You don't have to call them and ask them for the credit card. They have software now. You can put in a credit card. It just automatically dings it every month. And, but you have to cultivate them, right? And say thank you profusely and let them know how much you appreciate them. But I think recurring giving is definitely important. I think, deferred giving is also important, right? Because we always focus on cash and we know really big money is caught up in assets, right? And so really teaching our boards about the importance of estate planning and deferred giving, I think is really important. That's where the big money is. People who are really wealthy, they have boats and they own airplanes and artwork and stock and crypto and like all the things that we know that we can liquidate and turn that into cash. But we need to have those conversations with them to let them know that those are options. It's not just cash. In fact, they'll probably give you $10,000, but they're worth 3.3 million, right? So we need to teach boards about player giving. And then, of course, the old just relationships, just steward people, say thank you, invite them, let them know what's going on, have them come in and have coffee with the CEO. I think the relationship piece is just continual. That never ends, right? And so the value of building relationships, the value of recurring giving, the value of big giving through deferred gifts, I think are really important. And I think we need to make sure that our boards understand how important all that is.
Yeah, fantastic advice. I think relationship is a big key takeaway here of building relationships with your board and with your community. So, all right, I always end with what I call the tactical takeaway question.
Okay.
which is something that fundraisers can do today. So, Crystal, what is one thing every fundraiser
Ooh,
should do today that you believe matters most?
should do today. Ooh, that's a good one. I think they should figure out a creative way for a donor who has been very loyal, even if the gift has not been big, but they've been given, $300 every year for the last 5 years. Think of a creative way to call them and say thank you, right? I don't know if you want to creative, right? Do a video and send them a video, or if you want to send them a handwritten note, if you want the kids to make a picture for them and send it. I think thanking people and showing appreciation is what's going to get you far. People want to be recognized. They want to know that what they're doing is making a difference and stuff. You have loyal donors who have been giving to you for 4 or 5 consecutive years. Do something nice. Send them some kind of special something and let them know you really appreciate them.
Good advice.
Retaining donors is so much easier than trying to find new ones. And so if you can keep the ones you got happy and feeling connected to your work and feeling appreciated and letting them know about the strong leadership your organization has, share the annual report or whatever the feel good story is, and keep them engaged in your organization so that they will continue to give over and over again.
That's good. And you're touching on storytelling there. So, I mean,
Yes.
jumping back to Well Told, if you want to hear, you will want to hear Crystal live at Well Told, and all of the all-star lineup speakers that we've got. They're talking about storytelling, leadership, all of that. You definitely want to hit this. It's a fantastic event. It's virtual and in person, so either one that you can attend in person or show up online. And you're going to walk away not just inspired with this one. So it is actionable. It is takeaways. You're going to leave with a literal 3-ring binder of actions from our speakers. So
Oh,
you're not going
yeah.
to want to miss this. It's going to be
Oh, we're
great.
going to have some fun. We're going to have
Yeah,
some fun.
it's gonna be fantastic. Crystal,
Very
thank you so much
lively.
for showing up today and giving
Thank
your
you.
advice to fellow fundraisers.
Absolutely. Keep doing the good work, guys.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We will see you next week.
All right. Take care. Bye.